Hello everybody and welcome to Mount Pleasant Gaming. I'm Emperor Craig and today I'm going to give you my thoughts on Season 6. I was supposed to do this video about a week ago, but I ended up busy with a few things and I just ended up forgetting. But I thought what better video to give you my thoughts on than my very first Loba win. It's not because I've been rubbish with Loba, it's because I very rarely use Loba. The guy I play with most of the time, he's a Loba main, so I've never really used her properly. And even when I did, it was just to get a challenge done rather than to actually do anything meaningful. But this is a game where I actually do well with Loba and we end up winning, so hopefully you enjoy the footage and hopefully you enjoy the video too. So I'm going to go into my thoughts on Season 6 so far. Now, my thoughts have ended up differing slightly over the time because they've made a few changes. So I'm going to basically go into them first. First of all, the one change they made for Season 6 was they removed the devotion from the care package and replaced it with the R99 instead. Now, the R99 is a fantastic weapon. And as a care package weapon, it is amazing as well. There was a game where I actually took it out of the care package and ended up killing about 4 different people with it. Right at the end of the game as well. Sorry about sniff. But the problem is when they first took the devotion out of the care package, they basically left the devotion as it was. They kept it in the same state, but obviously requiring attachments, which was a huge mistake in my opinion, because even without attachments the devotion was already a powerful weapon, and even before it was put in the care package it was a powerful weapon if you could handle it. And so if people can handle the recoil, then they can be beasts with the weapon. Obviously a lot you can tell when someone's using a mouse and keyboard on console, and there are quite a few people, players who do this. It's always obvious because they pretty much have expert control over the recoil of the guns with high recoil when they shouldn't be able to control it that well. And so those players especially end up with a distinct advantage over other players because the devotion's high recoil was nothing to them. But then Respawn, I think after a few days, they actually they nerfed it a little bit, and they also made it less common. Because one of the problems was that it was such a common weapon that you found it everywhere because of the introduction of the Vault, which I'll go into a little bit later, ended up meaning that energy weapons and energy ammo were found everywhere, and the devotion in particular was, or it's just the only people you would face had devotions, and you either had to face the use the devotion yourself, or hope you were just miles better than the other team, because even a bad player with a devotion could wreck you. And but they eventually changed it, and they said they had more changes coming in the future. I'm not sure what changes they're going to make in the future, but they'll come at some point, I imagine. But the problem is, obviously, with the devotion, it came with another change to the game that helped the devotion ruin people even more, which is the armor. They switched all the armor out for Evo armor, so the only armor in the game now is Evo armor, which I actually thought was a good thing, because it wasn't just everyone drops with white Evo armor and that's the only armor you get. You have to level it up yourself. They made it so everyone starts with level 0 Evo armor, and so you have to level it up, or if you want. But they also made it so that level 1, 2, and 3 Evo armor would drop, so you get white, blue, and purple drops as well. But the issue was that they took 25 HP off all of the armor. So white became 25, blue became 50, purple became 75, and they even took, and then red became 200, 100, sorry, giving you 200 overall. And then they did it to the gold as well, making gold 75, which in my opinion was a stupid change. It basically made the gold redundant, because the good thing about the gold was, before that, when they had it, it's gone through a variety of changes, but when it had fast heal, the gold was incredible. But then they changed it in Season 5 where instead of obviously fast heal, you had one shield cell would recover 2 slots, one syringe would recover 2 slots, or two parts of health instead of one. And yeah, that was a good change to the gold armor. Made it less threatening but still powerful. But then the problem is that with the minus 25, it took it down to three bars instead of 4. And so with 3 bars, when you use the shield cell, you would recover 2 bars. And so you'd have 1 bar left over, so you'd have to use another shield cell to recover 1 bar. Even though the whole point of the gold shield is to recover 2 bars with 1 shield cell. And so they messed that up as well. So to be honest, like if they hadn't reverted all these changes or some of these changes, and my review, my thoughts on the season would be quite a bit more scathing, because it essentially lowered the TTK, which is time to kill, which if you know, it's basically how long it takes for you to kill someone. So it made it too low. Now in a game like Apex, it needs to have a balanced TTK. It needs there needs to be a middle ground where it is. It can't be too high, it can't be too low. If it's too high, then it takes forever to kill people, and you know, with a mobility, like in Hyperscape, for instance, the TTK in that is ridiculously high and it has insane mobility. Like the better, you know, if you're amazing, or well, even if you've got the right powers, you can jump away and heal or whatever. It basically the TTK is ridiculous in Hyperscape. So you know, Apex, the TTK where it was before Season 6 was perfect. One too high, one too low. But then, dude, that little 25 hate change, that ruined the TTK. It became too fast. Like, you look at any of my past videos or whatever, there's some videos where, you know, you win fights by the skin of your teeth or something. And so I was having lots of fights where I would have won it normally if the shields were higher, like they were before, because of how much damage I would have done to them. And yeah, you can say, well, then why didn't it affect the player fighting me? It's like, well, there's another point to it. Like, you know, it's just the way, it's just down how it is. Like, they were, you know, you just know when you're going to win a fight, and you know that little tiny bit extra health would have helped you win that fight. And like with the devotion back in on the ground, with the vault coming in, which is a high powered weapon and a very accurate weapon, TTK was ruined. But they reverted it like last week, maybe like 5 days ago. They added the 25 health back to shields, which again made the gold shield useful again, because now you got 4 slots. So each time you use a shield cell, you use 2 shield cells to recover the whole thing, which is how it should be. And it made getting red armor worthwhile as well. Like, not saying it's not worthwhile already, because it would get you to 200, but it just didn't feel right, you know. It's it just basically made all the armor like useless, if I'm honest. So yeah, that's what I did. But they like I said, they put the 25 back on, which helped it big time, because now it's much better. And obviously now I'll talk about the vault, because we've talked about the energy, ammo, and weapon, which made the devotion spawn everywhere, and then obviously the TTK. We've got to talk about the vault. The vault was a new weapon they introduced. It's an energy SMG. Fires fast, hits hard, is accurate as hell. The recoil on the vault is virtually non-existent. So if you've got a vault and you can hit your shots, you're going to ruin people. It's as simple as that. The vault is an amazing weapon. It's probably top 3 weapons in the game, I think. For me, being the 301 Mastiff and then the vault. For damage dealing, anyway. Stats might not back that up, but that's just the way it is from my personal experience. And it's a great introduction. Obviously, they took off the R99. Now, in Season 5, I think at the beginning of Season 5 or before Season 5, they mentioned there was no new weapon for Season 5. And the reason was because they didn't want to dilute the loot pool too much, which is what Fortnite does, they've got a huge loot pool, and it means that there's so many weapons it's hard to know what to do or what weapons to pick up and stuff. So you've got to know all of these different weapons and it's too much. Although they found a nice balance for Fortnite now. And so they didn't want to introduce a new weapon because they didn't want to dilute the loot pool too much. They felt they had enough weapons in the game right now. So to counteract this, they introduced something else. Sorry, that's the sound of my bottle. They introduced something else called crafting, which is where you open a supply bin, you get 5 crafted materials. You take materials from a crafting tube, you get 25. And so it costs, these crafting materials, it costs to craft things. And so each day a new weapon is out of the loot pool and in the crafting pool instead. So and this way that the amount of weapons in the game stays the same. It's not diluted. So like one day it's a longbow, one day it's a 301, but you won't find these on the floor. So if there's a 301 that to be crafted that day, you won't find a 301 anywhere on the ground. You find it in boxes if people have crafted it, but you won't. You'd have to craft it yourself if you want one, which is a bit of a pain because then, like with the R99 being taken out, there's no kind of middle ground. Like if you get an alternator, you can't upgrade to a 99. You gotta end up getting a 301 to crafted. So I think that's really good. I think the crafting thing is a fantastic addition to the game. It adds a new dimension to everything. They did crafting in Realm Royale. I say they do crafting in Realm Royale. Basically where there are these things called forges. You craft the materials on the way from chests, and you get them for killing enemies as well, which maybe they should do in Apex. So you end up like going to this forge, you do the crafting, and you craft weapons, healables, abilities as well, because there are abilities in Realm Royale. And you always know when someone's crafting as well because they're forges. Just like a real forge creates big black smoke because you're forging. Obviously in Apex, people know you're crafting as well because if you're close enough to the crafting station, then you can see the symbol of what they're crafting, so you can upgrade your armor and all that. And I think it's a fantastic addition. Like I was playing a game earlier, and I was in a fight, and I ended up with I had purple shields, and or did I have blue? I don't know. I had blue or purple. No, I had blue shields, and I ended up with my shields depleted because we just had a fight, and I needed 100 exactly to get to the next level. And I thought, hang on, you know what? I've heard that you can, if you go and upgrade the shield, it refills it. So I thought, I'll do that instead of using shield cells. So I went, crafted the upgrade, because the shield upgrade gives you 100 points for like 45 crafted materials. And so I did that, and then my shield came back fully replenished, which was amazing. And I think that's fantastic because, obviously if you're near a crafting station, your shield's depleted, rather than use resources, if you feel confident and safe, then you can craft. And luckily as well, with the crafting, it shows you what someone's crafting. So say, for instance, you're near the crafting station, you can, like, a coloured symbol comes up saying what it is. So like if you see blue, probably doing a shield or a blue attachment. See purple, doing a purple shield or purple attachment. If it's red, they're doing a shield. So you want to go there now and try and attack them while their shield is gone, because when you put your shield in, you've got to wait until it's done to get it back. It takes it off you. So you basically revert to level 0 armor, essentially. So I do think crafting is a fantastic addition to the game. It's definitely something that adds a new dimension, a new layer. I've only got 4 minutes left on this video, so I should probably talk about the next thing. Latest edition, Rampart. Great legend, funny as hell. I love her quips and everything. Her abilities are great. Sorry, bit of a sore throat now. Talking a lot. And I've got a bit of a cold as well, if I'm honest. It's very cold where I am. So yeah, it's a great addition. Her abilities are great. Some people probably think Sheila's a bit overpowered, but you can see Sheila on the map. She puts a Sheila up, there's a Sheila up, which way it's pointing. So you don't have to worry about really coming into a sudden Sheila. It's on the map straight away. I do like some of her outfits. But yeah, she's a great legend. I'm probably not going to main her because I like to go everyone. Although I mean I mained Revenant last season and the season before, and then I kind of switched a little bit. So I'm probably not going to main her. I'll probably go her every now and then when I feel like it. But she's a great addition. The voice actress does a great job. Map changes. A lot of people were expecting a new map. That's probably next year now. Oh, next season. I mean, instead, it looks like this season's more of a prelude to the change because of the whole rocket situation. So they're just map changing instead. They've changed a few areas. Drill sites now Countdown. There's a place called Staging, which is where the little town used to be near Mirage Voyage. There's the rocket area near, like between Tree and Dome. Oh, I think that's it actually. I think they're all the changes. There weren't that many changes if I'm honest. Obviously there are bits and pieces here and there. The train's gone because it's in pieces now all over the map. They've expanded the train tunnels, which I think is fantastic. And the last change, Mirage Voyage, gone. I'm really upset about that actually. I really love Mirage Voyage. It was pretty much my favourite landing location. But I did tease it, it's not gone for good, so hopefully it'll be back at some point. I do like the map changes, I think they're great. I think the new areas are all really good. They're a bit samey, but they're fantastic. You know, in two of the areas, well, in all of the areas you can lift up these walls, which I believe in medieval times were actually called ramparts, which is kind of funny because in New Legends rampart, and then you can raise the ramparts. Yeah, so I think the change is good. So overall, I'm pretty sure that's everything about the new season because there's probably more. Oh, new quests come in the form of comic books and comic pages instead, which they're pretty cool to be honest. Liking them so far. Overall, I would say that the new season of Apex Legends is great. Not fantastic, but great. It'd have been okay if they didn't change things. I mean, no, if they didn't revert some of the changes, it would have been okay. Bad to okay, but with them putting them back the way it should be or changing things to make it more balanced, it's great. So I'm loving the new season and I hope you are too. Let me know in the comments what you think of the new season, whether you kind of agree with me. And, well, you'll see my win in a second. You can see I run out of ammo. Look, I think this is my last clip actually. See, look at that, out of ammo. 0 ammo left on my 301. If I have to be risky and go in my Eva 8 and boom boom, slide, my favourite move, I love it. I love running, sliding and doing a shoot. So I hope you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, comment what you think of Season 6 and have a good day. Thank you very much and goodbye. I can't believe I ran out of light ammo.
That was your first Lobo win too, good job.
Oh shit, yeah it was, wasn't it? Oh look at that damage.
Well done.